The college football world as a whole is absolutely on fire right now with what the point in the season we are at, specifically with the college football playoff and the transfer portal both being open at the same time. But to start the show off tonight, there was one major point that I found interesting throughout this week that's been asked questions everywhere because of the way Alabama ended their season.
Yep. Not great.
The question is, when is when is Kalen DeBoer going to get Alabama to the point where Nick Saban had it?
Never.
Yeah.
The simple answer is it'll never happen again.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. In theory, it's never going to happen again. No one in their right mind ever thought that what Bear Bryant was able to do 100 years ago would have been done again. And Nick Saban not only did it again, did it better. Is there a chance that somebody figures out all this craziness and we get some sort of regulation into college football that somebody like a Ryan Day, a Kellen DeBoer is able to actually figure it out? There's a possibility.
Yes, there's the possibility, but we're also looking from the standpoint of, let's just ask the question, who is the best coach in college football right now? Opinionated, right here.
Kurt Cignetti. I mean, he's the current standard.
In my opinion, it's Kirby Smart.
Yeah, that's why I was just going to go back to Kirby.
Lane Kiffin was the catalyst of everything for the season. So some people would think, what he's getting paid and all that he is.
So let's just use the example, though. If we used Kirby Smart, Ryan Day, any of these coaches with a national championship under their belt already, Kirby's sitting with 2.
Yep.
The question will be, when is he going to win his 3rd one? And here's the answer for it. Nobody knows when he's going to win. He may not ever get to that pedestal, but here's the deal. Kirby Smart's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So is Dabo Swinney.
Indeed.
Ryan Day.
Indeed.
These guys have 1, maybe 2 national championships, yet they're first ballot Hall of Famers. Okay. Because we've all accepted the fact that, that's all they have to do to get into the Hall of Fame. We also have to realize, especially as Alabama fans, that Kalen DeBoer may never be to that point. He may not ever win a national championship, but he could have 10-win season after 10-win season after 10-win season.
Right.
And what happens to Kalen DeBoer if he has 10-win season after 10-win season after 10-win season? What happens to him?
Eventually, Byrne might get tired of it, but he probably won't. We have to realize that that's success, and we're in the new age of college football. We're not sitting back here like we were in 2020. We weren't able to stockpile that talent. Mac Jones would have never happened in this type of world that we're living in now.
Right.
Mac Jones would have transferred after his junior year.
To answer your question, what happens is either A, he has a 12-win season, or he has a 6-win season and they fire him.
Yes.
You go too many. See, Penn State, Franklin. We all sit here and say that Franklin is a top 10 coach right now in college football.
Yes. 100%.
He's been phenomenal with Penn State for what feels like a million years. He has 1 bad season. Everything goes off the rails for 3 straight games.
Yep.
And they're like, here's your hat. There's the door.
See you later. And Virginia Tech had the best hiring of any team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the question. Here's the big difference. College football, in theory, has 130 somewhat odd teams.
Yeah.
The NBA has
30 teams.
Is it? Yeah, 30.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball has 32. Is it 30?
It's 30.
And the NFL has 32, right? So it is significantly easier to be Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL than it is to be Nick Saban in college football.
100%. I mean, I think Alabama fans as a whole, because the whole question lately has been on top of that, let's get rid of Ryan Grubb.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying replace Grubb. He was horrible last season. He's going to be bad this season as well. And they're kind of, matching his name to Kalen DeBoer's and, taking that alongside. But here's the deal with Ryan Grubb, and this is what I keep coming back to is, who are you going to replace him with?
Right. This is a great question.
There's nobody at this point in the season where I'd pick out all over the country and say, oh, we can elevate him to be the OC here. But also in that turn, like last season, Nick Sheridan, everybody wanted him to be out, and they got their wish.
Yeah.
You ran him to a smaller role on the team as the quarterback's coach, but there was an obvious choice to go and replace him because Grubb was fired from Seattle.
Right.
You don't have that this year. So when you go out there and sit there and say Grubb needs to be gone, nothing's going to change. There's nothing that'll change for the better. You know, we lost in the SEC championship. Alabama did.
Badly.
Made it to the second round of the playoffs.
Made it to the second round of the playoffs.
We won 11 football games.
Okay. Only a handful of teams, 2 handfuls of teams, 3 handfuls of teams in college football can sit there and say,
don't put up the hands. Don't put up the hands.
Can sit there and say that they made it as far as they did, but yet we want to fire our offensive coordinator because this place got stagnant. It's not like it didn't produce. There was still production across the board.
Well, are we falling as Alabama fans into the Auburn scenario?
God, I hope not.
Is Auburn today a playoff team?
No, not at all.
I mean, their whole roster's stripped now.
I'll even start further. Is
Yeah.
Auburn a national championship team?
No.
Are they a playoff team?
No.
Are they an SEC championship team?
No.
Are they a 10-win team?
No.
Are they a 6-win team?
Maybe.
Maybe, but
Not with an SEC schedule.
Well, hold
Let me say
on.
that.
But at the same time, are you including the transfer portal on this of what
Well,
they've lost so far in the
No,
transfer
I'm just
portal?
saying Auburn in general,
In general,
as a football program right now,
6-win team. Yes.
they're a 6-win team.
And
But they have the Auburn fans. I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
They think every season they come into it thinking they're going to be the Kansas City Chiefs
Uh-huh.
and that they are going to the national championship game. Now, granted, nobody at the beginning of the season thought Indiana was going to the national championship game. They're 60 minutes away from beating the Oregon Ducks for a second time from doing that. But my problem is have Alabama fans gotten so used to playing for the national championship that making it to the second round is a fireable offense?
I think it's kind of ridiculous. I've said it over and over again. And Kelsey, when you said 2-3 handfuls of teams, actually there's only 2 handfuls of teams. It's 7 other teams besides Alabama that made it as far as we did in the college football playoff, right? We'd like to say, hey, we were one of the last 6. The only reason we were one of the last 6 is because we didn't play the first night.
Right. Well,
right? So down to 8, okay? But and I'll be the first to say this. And when I said something, you asking Auburn, and I said, wait a second, they're playing the SEC schedule. I'm not saying that the SEC schedule is dominant. I'm saying that they're moving to that bigger SEC schedule next year where you're playing more SEC games.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying it'd be harder to get those 6 wins.
Which is why you've got teams like USC and Notre Dame are not going to play next year because Notre Dame wouldn't agree to play at the beginning of the season like USC wanted. Colin Cowherd made this whole deal about that it was like having a 400 level college courses, and now you want to add Notre Dame, where Notre Dame can set their schedule however they want to, play Podunk State University the week before and then go out to have a bye and go out to USC, and so USC didn't want to have that anymore. So yeah, you're right, with the SEC schedule going to 9 teams, plus you got to play 1 Power 4 outside of the SEC, so really you're playing 10 big games.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for anyone in the SEC, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, Auburn, to win 10 ball games. So making the playoff of only 12, and I believe we'll switch to 16 very shortly. And when we do, I will come on here and sit in front of this microphone and tell you I told you so. And do that. So for Alabama fans to just be so up in arms about ready to fire Kellen DeBoer, who are you going to bring in that's better?
Speaking of Alabama, real quick, guys, tell us where you're tuning in from. We're interested to know. We want to know how far we're reaching, and we're just happy that you're joining us here on a Wednesday night for what we're eventually will be going through the transfer portal and, of course, previewing the Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl, the Thursday and Friday's games. But yeah, keep tuning in. You're going to want to stay until the end of the show. I've got a lot of good news. Off the Bench has really been working behind the scenes and trying to get a better product to you, and we're so happy we're doing so. So this morning we learned of the fact that Ty Simpson has declared for the draft. So the Ty Simpson era at Alabama has ended with no national championship. That means these four classes did not get a national championship at their time at the university.
Yep.
So with that being said, what era are we moving into? A short Austin Mack era or a elongated Keelan Russell era, or as I like to call the KR era?
I mean, it very well could be. It could be some sort of, hybrid version of that. Who does the to me, when it comes to quarterback, both these guys are great quarterbacks.
Yes.
They're both highly rated coming out of high school. They're both phenomenal athletes, right? Which one does the team get behind? For whatever reason, I don't feel like the team ever got behind Ty. And somebody asked the question the other day, who was the guy on this year's team, this year's Alabama team?
That was the man.
That was that guy.
Yeah.
I would say Jeremy Bernard.
And he was quiet.
Toward the end of the season, yes. I think to the first part of the season, he was a real, kind of difference maker for Alabama. But toward the end of the season, he calmed down a lot.
But
it kind of gave the torch to Xavier Brown.
Isn't the guy supposed to be the quarterback, though?
Yes.
Yeah, but I would say, when Bama was making its run and they won those 4 straight top 25 games, I think Ty was the man. He was the one emotional on the sideline. He was the one giving that pregame pep talk.
We got to remember, too, all the injuries that Ty had throughout the season. Of course, the last game against Indiana, he broke a rib. But he had shoulder issues.
Back issues.
Acid reflux. I mean, it goes down the list of all the issues that Ty had throughout the year, and it's because he just couldn't stay healthy.
And I think him going to the NFL, he's probably going to be the third quarterback taken.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if like the Rams or the Bills take him to sit behind an aging star quarterback, for a year or so. And
I'd love to be able to sit behind Josh Allen.
Well, that, yeah. You, me, and
Are we considering Josh Allen aging now?
I mean, at this point, yeah.
NFL stands for not for long.
I get that, but quarterbacks is kind of a misnomer because they kind of stay a little too longer than they should.
Well, just because you have one that won a playoff game at 42, and
but you had a guy unretire this year
at 44, and Tom Brady. Tom Brady's likely to live to 130.
That's true.
He eats, nothing but like specific geometric stuff. I don't know. He's weird with his little diet.
So, Kels, I'm gonna go back to your question you asked about what era of Alabama football is it now, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I'm the fan of let's rip the Band-Aid off and go ahead and start the Keelan Russell era. Okay. You're talking about people who have potential to be leaders on that team. He's got a year sitting on the bench. He's a freshman. He's a popular freshman, getting ready to be a popular sophomore.
And if you were to go ask the students, because I've had conversations about students at Alabama about this, they're ready for Keelan. They wanted to see more Keelan this season, and they really didn't want to understand the fact of, look, Ty Simpson is the guy. He needs to continue to be the guy throughout the season. They were ready to pull the plug after the third game. So they put Keelan in. We want to see him.
Right.
And they saw him in the Louisiana Lafayette game that we were at, and they were saying, we want Keelan now.
Well, great news. As a former alumni of the University of Alabama, I do not give two you-know-whats about what the students want. I want the best guy, especially at quarterback.
Yeah.
I want the guy that the rest of the team
will rally
votes for to put that C on his
100%.
Jersey.
Yeah.
And if that's Keelan, then let him ride. If it's insert transfer portal quarterback here.
No,
awesome.
No, we don't need any more quarterbacks.
No, I 100% agree.
I mean,
100% agree. But if that's who the players want, I don't care what his name is, how many stars he had coming out of high school.
Yeah.
If that's who the players look at Kellen DeBoer and go, that's the guy I trust in the huddle, telling me what play we're running, that's the guy I want at quarterback.
I get it. I understand it. I mean, for me, look, I understand. I like Keelan Russell. I think another offseason of strength conditioning, working with this team, his wide receivers. I think a lot of good can happen out of that. I think Keelan is going to be a phenomenal player toward the future, whether that's this season or this coming season. Austin Mack, same position. He is just talent-wise. I don't think he has the talent to match Keelan, but I think physical ability wise, I think that goes to Austin Mack. I mean, 6'6", whatever.
Yeah, the definition of a quarterback that can see over an offensive line is
exactly.
Austin Mack.
Yeah.
Well, you started all this with Kellen DeBoer.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say we start the Keelan Russell era, and he, as a not a freshman but a sophomore who hasn't played a lot of live action football, struggles as most sophomores would. Is the University of Alabama willing to say, hey, we'll take a 8-4 season, knowing that we're putting in the quarterback of the future because we're prepared to go forward for another?
No, the students, not really students, the fans,
the fans themselves,
would say no to that.
Yeah.
But I will say, to respond to your question though, is, I'll bring it back to DeBoer's Washington days. Okay, they had Michael Penix, Hemming Rank Road. Yep. They had Michael Penix over there. Austin Mack was their handpicked guy to take over at Washington after Michael Penix had left. And then DeBoer, Grubb went to Seattle. DeBoer came to Alabama. And they got down there, and it was really DeBoer and the OC from 2 years ago, Nick Sheridan.
Mm-hmm.
They had handpicked their guy to be Keelan Russell.
Right.
Okay. Austin Mack was the handpicked guy for Washington. Keelan Russell's handpicked guy for Alabama. I think that nothing has changed in that department. I still think that's the plan for them moving forward. It's not to talk bad about Austin Mack, but Alabama's a bigger program than Washington, and they need more of a star power than you have to have at Washington.
Well, we also, I hate to say this and bring this up, but the way our offensive line looked this season, I don't care if you put Peyton Manning back there at quarterback or bring Tom Brady out of retirement. If he doesn't have time to throw the dadgum ball in any kind of run game, you can still go out there and beat 10, 11 teams. But you still get skull drugged by Georgia when it matters.
Yeah. And
the absolute, as we said last week, B-A that Indiana put on us in the Rose Bowl, 100-year anniversary of the day we won it. And I'm almost certain they didn't show up.
No, I'm with you. I mean, there was certain issues in that game where the team was just completely, there was no heartbeat on defense. There was no heartbeat on offense. I mean, if you were going to make that switch, even at halftime with Austin Mack, I don't even think it changes anything. It wouldn't have lit a spark because those guys were already skull drugged by the time the third quarter came in.
Right.
It wouldn't have mattered. There was just nothing. There was no efficiency ran. The mindset was just gone by the third quarter. They were ready to get off that field.
That tie fumble was the end of the game.
What did Austin Mack do for the fan, though, when he came in? The fan,
it lit a little bit of spark. I mean, hey, let's try this out.
Needed
see what happens. Right.
He was 4 for 4 for like 50-something yards passing.
He panicked.
At the
It was too little too late at that point. Like when Ty makes that run across the middle, if he gets down, we have a chance to score and make it 10-7. It's a ball game at that point. And finally, Alabama has punched back. No one has punched back at Indiana at this point in the season. So just like with some of these other, we talked about with Miami and Ohio State.
Yeah.
I said, if Miami comes out with a 1-2 punch, what does Ohio State do? And other than a couple of drives, they folded up tent and went on home.
Yeah.
So if Alabama scores there, you're talking a whole different ball game. But he fumbles. The defense now has to go back out on the field. You could see it in their eyes that they were tired. And it was dink, 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 touchdown.
Speaking of a whole different ball game, let's talk about the transfer portal.
So, real quick, Jamie hitting us up from Paducah, Kentucky. Jamie, thanks for listening. Hey, we know Paducah, Kentucky.
Yeah,
good city over there.
Kind of my hometown.
There you go, right there. All right, so the transfer portal. We move on to today's show. We only got an hour, and we've already spent too much time on one topic here. So there's a term that I want to kind of coin here because I've noticed this over really this year and the past couple of years. I'm going to ask you both if you both have this. Pops, Richie.
Yes, sir.
Do you two think that you may possibly be experiencing symptoms of pass? portal anxiety syndrome.
Well, when I keep hitting my refresh button on my screen here to see who's come into the portal, left the portal, signed from the portal, yeah, I would say there's a little bit of anxiety going on there, man.
I've looked at On 3 so many times. I think it's On 4 now.
So fair enough. We all have portal anxiety syndrome, or PASS is what I'm going to call it here. And I think it goes around the country. You know, Saturdays in the fall, there's always anxiety until that's when they prescribe you a bye week for your anxiety in college football season in the fall. But unfortunately for PASS, there's no cure for it. There's no break from the transfer portal until it ends. So you just kind of have to stick it out for a little bit, and hopefully you come out with all your hair on the other side. There's also portal a PDS, which is portal derangement syndrome, but I haven't seen too many problems with PDS yet. When that becomes an issue, we'll start talking about it more. But do you believe wholeheartedly that you're going to get Cam Coleman at the University of Alabama?
I mean, at this point, I've heard him going to Alabama, Texas Tech, Texas. I could name 132 schools that are not Auburn. That
are you fully in on Cam Coleman?
Absolutely. Why not?
Okay, he has PDS. Pops, do you believe Cam Coleman should be at the University of Alabama?
Do I believe he should be? Yes.
Do you believe that he will be?
With all the Alabama connections, to include his friendship with Ryan Williams, to include his former coach at that school that likes to say War Eagle, who is now the Bama receiving coach. I believe he will be. I really do. So now there may be some anxiety and derangement tied into all that.
Pops has some PDS, but I think it may be a larger scale, but at least he has receipts for it. But that may be tying into the PDS, trying to cope with the fact that you think it will happen, but it might not happen. And let me get this straight. Cam Coleman, yes, there's a lot of push to get him to the University of Alabama. I've had buddies down in Tuscaloosa. You know, I've been asking, where has he been there yet? Has he been there? You know, what's going on? You know, what's happening? John Little hitting us up on YouTube. Good to see you guys. Good to see you too, John, tuning in here. But, you know, I've been wondering, is Cam Coleman actually down there? Because I've seen conflicting reports. He took his visit. He's been on the podcast with Ryan Williams. Oh, he didn't take his visit. You know, I don't know what is going on with Cam Coleman. So I've seen so many conflicting reports of it happened yesterday. It happened today. So don't even really know what's going on. But I do know you're right. Texas Tech, or excuse me, not Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Texas.
A&M, yeah.
USC, Drew fell out of the race. They picked up another wide receiver in the portal. So the question marks are there for where is Cam Coleman going to go still. But portal anxiety, big issue in today's time in the sport. It happens. We're here with you. Everybody's really got some type of portal anxiety, unless you're the crowd that just says they weren't fully in on the brand. They weren't fully in on the school. They can leave. They don't have their heart in it. If you're not that type of fan, then you will be experiencing portal anxiety syndrome. We're here with you. It's better to have your AA meeting with us to figure this out, because I don't have a cure for you, but this is the best way to go forward.
Grab your portal, buddy.
So let me, Kelsey, I need to understand how you're going to help me, man.
Yeah.
I've got damn anxiety with Bama having one offensive lineman left in the weak spot of the team this year. So we've got a freshman who's going to be a sophomore, Carroll, coming back.
He said he would.
So please, Dr. The Kels, please tell me how you're going to help cure me of this anxiety syndrome that I have because of all the damn Bama players leaving.
I can tell you this. Alabama is in on Jacarius Peak.
Yeah.
Offensive lineman for North Carolina State. I think they're battling him in South Carolina. He's on a campus visit to Texas A&M today. But Mr. Peak could be joining the Alabama Crimson Tide sometime in the future. If you remember right, Hollywood Smothers.
Hollywood.
Okay.
That gives us 3.
Jacarius Peak was his offensive tackle.
Yeah,
so, there's a connection there.
OMG,
and maybe that can work for you. This could work for you, okay? Or it could provide you with more portal derangement syndrome. We don't know yet. This isn't a proven method yet.
We got to have at least
figure
5.
this out. Now, USC defensive lineman Devon Tompkins has committed to the University of Alabama. And this kid had 55 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble, as well as 5 pass deflections for USC last year.
Well, that's defense, man.
This is defense.
I'm worried about this offensive line.
You're worried about the offensive line?
What about the center we just signed out of Michigan? Didn't we get a center
I
out
don't
of
think he's
Michigan?
a center. I know who you're talking about. I don't have him pulled up
There's an
here, but
interior
you are
lineman they
correct.
grabbed that
I thought it was
played
a-
center.
okay.
Yeah.
You are 100% correct.
At this point,
he
does
has
Ray
committed.
at this point does Ray still have any eligibility?
I bet
to
you Ray
play?
Ray's got some eligibility.
play
I don't
offensive
think his
line at
knees would
Alabama?
help out. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not aware of his eligibility status. But yes, Caden Strayhorn, a freshman from the 2025 class, has committed to the University of Alabama via the transfer portal. So he is providing some of that stability on the offensive line. He is 6'2", 308 pound out of IMG Academy, who played 2 games for Michigan in 2025. So he does remain his freshman status.
Well, that kind of goes back to my point that I brought up when you were talking about the quarterback.
Yes.
It sounds like we're going to have a lot of young offensive linemen who have not played with one another, with a quarterback who's pretty young that has not played with any of said linemen.
Yes.
Are we, as Alabama fans,
deranged,
okay with a possible 8-win season to prepare ourselves for the future?
No, I don't think you are. Alabama fans are not going to be in the position to say, we're good with 8 wins if we win the national title next year. Maybe the next 2 years, but there's no guarantee of that. I think DeBoer is out the door at 8 wins before he has the chance to recover with a national title championship team.
No,
which is ignorant.
Yeah.
Very ignorant, but I think it's the truth.
Yeah. I will say at least we're not Iowa State, whose entire team has gone east. At last count, 19 players from Iowa State have signed with Penn State.
That just tells you the
kind of
craziness
tells
that
you
is the portal.
Well, but Matt Campbell, he's bringing his players over from Iowa State to Penn State, and on a whole different level, really a lower level. Chad Morris is bringing his kids over from North Texas to Oklahoma State.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of those things happen. I'm pretty sure half the offense came with him to Oklahoma State.
The Penn State got 2 Iowa State quarterbacks, so they actually got the backup quarterback to transfer.
So it's now Iowa State North, which is how the transfer portal is going to work here.
Well, and like I was telling Pops, that's going to be a thing looking forward.
Yes.
Okay, let's say Kellen DeBoer has a bad season and they fire Kellen DeBoer, and some random team like Cincinnati has a great season.
Yeah.
And we go and hire Cincinnati's head coach at the University of Alabama because we think he's going to bring 15 to 20 of his Cincinnati guys over.
But you can't recruit like that, especially on this high of a level. You can't sit here and try to do that. I mean, LSU and Ole Miss is a great example. Kiffin could not retain his 2 stars on offense. Okay. Trinidad Chambliss and Kejuan Lacey did not go with him to LSU. They're sticking with Ole. No. They have locked in contracts to stay at the University of Ole Miss.
Ask Washington about that. The Washington has a quarterback who signed a contract and has.
I understand that,
and
now he is thinking about going to LSU.
He's already said he's entering the transfer portal, and Washington's trying to keep him from doing it. And I don't think
know what happened with this the first time around. I remember exactly this. There was a kid from the University of Wisconsin. He was a cornerback. Decided he wanted to hit the portal. He was locked into an NIL deal. Wisconsin said, no, you can't do that. He unenrolled from the University of Wisconsin and re-enrolled at the University of Miami, not going via transfer portal. He just completely unenrolled in his classes.
Yeah, you can't. At this point, the rule, what was it, the show that they had where the 4 guys would get up there and do the scripts, and the thing was said that where the rules are made up and so are the points.
I don't remember this show.
No, that was you talking about the
whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, but
funny
guys.
Yeah, Drew. Drew
Carey. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it was the rules are made up, and so are the points. As far as the transfer portal is concerned, the rules are made up, and so are the points.
That's 100% it. I mean,
I think
it's completely made up. Someone made a point today. Someone texted me, and they made a point today of the transfer portal's on fire. It's out of control. And I said, that's what happens when you roll something out on a red carpet and there's no regulations on it. We saw it with NIL and the transfer portal, and to come out at the same time completely transform the sport into a whole nother era overnight.
Well, I heard somebody talk about today. So right now there's somewhere just shy of 40% of all college football players are in the transfer portal. If you take the ones that are going to the NFL, there's more than 50% of all players that were on a team last year that will not be on that same team next year. And what they said was without any rules, because the NCAA has no bite to go behind their bark, you could have a player play their freshman year at Alabama, their sophomore year at Auburn, their junior year at Georgia, their senior year at Florida, and then get a fifth year because they didn't play but 4 games for Alabama and go to Tennessee. There's no way they graduate because there's no way their credits all transfer.
There was a point I saw made by a podcaster the other day, and I'm going to go completely blank on his name, but I remember the point he made. Let's talk about TJ Finley. Y'all remember who TJ Finley is? I think he's played at LSU. He's played at Auburn. He's played at Western Kentucky. I think there's 2 other teams in that mix. I think he's going into his 6th year. TJ Finley is an older quarterback, and he has said publicly that he wants to prove that he can make it to the NFL. So what does he do? He keeps hitting the transfer portal. What is the number one issue with it?
That there's no consistency.
No.
Okay.
How much money is he going to make sitting behind a desk when he graduates college?
Oh, not nearly as much as he's going to make.
How much is he going to make in NIL? Let's say $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's not going to make that sitting behind a desk. Why not continue to transfer, continue playing football for the sport you love when you're going to get paid for it like you love it?
I'm sorry. What day?
Rather than
what Diego Pavia?
Still, okay. But the points, TJ Finley didn't play any JUCO. I'm pretty sure he started at Auburn.
Yes.
Or started at LSU.
Yeah, LSU.
Auburn, yeah. Right. So what? Give me a reason why I should go commit to BB marketing right down the road when I can still commit to another college that's going to pay me $200,000 a year to play quarterback at a subpar level.
Well, ultimately, the answer to that is someone in Washington, D.C. is going to have to get off of their rear end fighting and worrying about something that doesn't mean anything and give an antitrust exemption to the NCAA. There's going to have to be some sort of rules about you can only transfer twice, once on your own, once if your coach gets fired or whatever. There's got to be some sort of rules where these contracts are actually, hey, Ty, we'll give you $4 million, but you got to throw, 30 touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions. There's got to be some sort of a backbone to it. And you're going to have a system in place. Okay, this is not my full-time job. Don't know if you know this or not. I show up and do this because I really actually enjoy doing it.
No, I know that, Richie. I know that.
I like sitting here talking about football. My real job, I do auto financing. I have a non-compete clause in my contract with my company. I cannot just wake up tomorrow and say, you know what? Don't like it here. I'm going down the street to another finance company. There's like a 6-month time period that I got to sit out. They could sue the other company. They could sue me into oblivion, which, unfortunately, I can't afford to be sued into oblivion. So why in the world is these kids, I'm going to sound like the old fart for a second.
Yeah.
These kids just able to just wake up tomorrow and go, you know what? I don't like it at Alabama. I hear this. I hear the weather's nicer in Wyoming.
So they've tried to put non-competes in the contract of the NIL, but it just hasn't been successful.
So I think they could. I mean, if they want to legal up, they wanted to, the schools really wanted to legal up. Put a non-compete within your conference.
Yeah, okay? Absolutely.
And the talk of the day about these Alabama boys going to Georgia. Man, that just hurts.
You saw an example of it today, and not really today, but over the last couple of days. Brendan Sorsby. University of Cincinnati.
Yep.
Transferred to Texas Tech. Both Big 12 schools now. Okay, Sorsby is one of the best quarterbacks in this transfer portal class.
Right, yeah.
Okay, there was a picture of him in Times Square, if that tells you anything. Okay, they had him all broadcast through Times Square, and it said, "Welcome to Lubbock." But guess what? I agree. I don't think you should be able to just transfer freely between conferences or in that conference.
Or I'll even go a step further. Any team that is currently scheduled to play your team over the next 4 years.
That would take out all of the that's a lot of teams. I don't know if you could do that. That almost to completely
We got to think if you're in the SEC,
That takes over half the schools out. I'd argue.
So what?
No, it doesn't take out half the schools. Okay, so the SEC
It's
is going to play a rotating schedule. So over 4 years, you're going to play every team in the SEC. So
and then
boom,
four, that'd be,
Yeah.
you can have roughly 8 on top of that if you play home and homes.
Yeah.
I'm not a mathematician, but
there's
You're
100.
definitely not a
There's 100.
No.
That still gives you about 100 schools to transfer to.
yes.
But-
Are they top level schools? Because you're going to be sitting over here with rivalries.
So what? Nobody cares if it's a top level school.
Yeah.
So
They
you're
care about
saying-
the money.
So,
Okay,
so,
so
because
Ty
we looked
wouldn't-
back over the last couple of years, we saw what was Etienne's older brother, Trevor Etienne,
Yeah.
transfer between the University of Florida and then go to Georgia.
Yeah.
And that was all shocking to a lot of not just college football fans, but SEC fans to sit here and say, we really just saw a football player put on the helmet for the Gators and the Bulldogs in not even a year apart.
I mean, look what Ty Simpson was talking about when they were looking at where he was potentially
Tennessee.
transferring to.
Tennessee and Oregon, and I think didn't Florida State come in that mix?
And so he could have easily transferred to Oregon because Alabama has not played Oregon and does not
Oh, and
have
I
Oregon
think
on the schedule.
He could have taken the Bo Nix route, and it would have been really good for him. I didn't want that to happen, but I think that was a very viable route for Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
But that way you can't. It's an unfair, in my opinion, especially quarterback. It's an unfair advantage for you to be like, oh, I've spent the last 2 years at Alabama. I know all their calls. I know all of their run systems. I know everything about them. I'm going to now transfer to Auburn. And when we play them, I don't need some kid in the stands with a trash can banging on it. I don't need some kid in the stands wearing the other team's T-shirt and hat so that they can steal signs. I know what their signs are.
Yeah, I understand it. All right, we go ahead, Pops.
I was just going to say, speaking of hats, man, Kels, talk to us about the hat you're wearing right now.
Guys, real quick. All right, we've started something new here at Off the Bench, and we're really excited about it. Look, I got this hat up for Christmas. This is a branded Bills hat.
Very nice hat.
It's a very good. They've got trucker. They've got 5-panel. This is just an awesome hat. I fell in love with the look of it. The fit is even better. Man, I was just so surprised by it. If you guys want a hat just like this, branded Bills, I've heard some comments about it. Go check out. There's a link in our description. It's on our page over there. Link, and you'll see it down there. It's all listed out correctly. You'll see where you need to go. It's at the bottom of the description of the show, and you'll find it right there. Scroll to the bottom of that other page or to that link, and you'll find where you go to Branded Bills and check out their hat selection there. Phenomenal hat. I'm so happy with it.
And it's an affiliated link, so we do help a little monetarily for us here at Off the Bench if you do buy a hat through that link. So we appreciate anybody and everybody who wants to go out and buy one. Speaking of YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. We do go live every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, and we try to get in here every Wednesday from 7 to 8. Sometimes with different schedules, we have to move the midweek around a little bit, but if you hit that bell notification, you will know anytime and every time we go live, and we may do some surprise lives from time to time over the next year.
100%. All right, guys. Real quickly to end off the transfer portal, Sam Levitt, still the number 1 player in the portal class right now. Looks like he's looking at LSU, possibly Kentucky. I saw it on there. I think LSU is probably the favorite to land him right now. There's no percentages wise on Cam Coleman here. Texas A&M, Texas looks like the front runners for him. Chaz Coleman, the freshman phenom out of Penn State,
Very good player.
essentially locked in Ohio State,
Which
not 100% yet. Tennessee's also in the mix there, but we don't know for sure. Drew Mestamaker looking at committed to Oregon State following Chad Morris over to there. Damon Wilson II, he looks still undecided. The Missouri edge rusher, Jacorius Peak, like we were talking about earlier, from NC State, 38 to 33% between South Carolina, Alabama. So definitely split there, looking to be there. Brendan Sorsby, we talked about him going over to Texas Tech. Transfer portal's on fire. Byron Brown, he is okay. So he is committed to Auburn now. He is 100% full go with Alex Gullish and Auburn over there. So the future is now looking a little less bleak for Auburn. But that's 1 year. Byron Brown, he's a senior coming in. So it's going to be a little bit different there to see. But
I'd like to point out as you're scrolling through this and all the teams and everything, Texas Tech is absolutely on
crazy.
fire with their collective that they've put together, and it's almost like anybody that they really want, they're like, yes, please, thank you.
I mean, isn't the collective that LSU's done with Nike, isn't that supposed to be like the top one right now? And everybody's saying that Lane Kiffin can just write a check to whatever recruit that's coming in and say, oh, you automatically have an NIL deal with Nike.
We also have to remember, though, we're only accounting for the players Texas Tech is bringing in. I think the number is 13 guys they've brought in right now.
Yeah,
compared to their 21 who are leaving.
Right.
So
it's a weird. It's no longer about recruiting.
No, and Texas, or excuse me, Indiana is on fire with it as well right now. Even Ole Miss with Pete Golding. I mean, and he's only lost 2 guys.
Yeah.
It's surprising what teams are actually doing well in the portal compared to what teams we should think are doing well in the portal.
You just saw Mississippi State's in the top 20. Like you said, Virginia Tech obviously bringing in a new coach, like we said earlier, a phenomenal coach is doing a great job. Houston, these teams that's got some money and some new life behind them are doing something, which I think goes back to the earlier conversation about how many coaches currently playing have more than 2 national championships. That would be 0.
2.
More than 2.
More than 2. Or you're not
Kirby has 2.
Kirby has 2. And
more than 2.
Has 2. So none, dude. None
0
after that. Yeah.
0. So 1 is probably first ballot Hall of Fame. 2 is let's go ahead and put your statue up.
It depends on his winnings percentage.
Yeah, well, yeah, they got to be at what 49.5 now.
Yeah, I'm assuming with 2 national championships, though, you've passed that winning percentage.
So you've got all of this craziness going on with the transfer portal, with the recruiting and everything, that you've only really got to win one of those battles.
Yeah,
to give your team a chance.
I'm 100% with you. I mean, the portal right now is just insane. I'm surprised to see the amount of influx we have seen over the last couple of days, and we were ready for it. I mean, we knew what was going to happen, but there are certain guys on certain teams you didn't expect to go in. I mean, we saw Rico Scott from Alabama jump into portal, jump right back out the portal. Okay. Quay Russo. I got into an argument this morning on Facebook about this, and it was not even Quay Russo. I mean, I understand Quay Russo. It's tough to see him leave, but hitting the portal was just so normal in today's college football. The argument that I got in about this was actually about Wilkin Formby and his production throughout the last year. And I think Wilkin Formby, if I have an update, I think he was Texas A&M, committed right before the show.
Yeah.
Formby went to A&M?
Formby committed to Texas A&M right before the show. But I had gotten to the argument about Wilkin Formby, who's a Tuscaloosa, Alabama native, so I was really even more surprised to see him hit the portal. But he wanted to play a certain position. And the guy that I was arguing with said, he was terrible. He was trash. He shouldn't have been playing anyways. That may have been true a year ago, but this year I would argue he's one of the most important offensive linemen Alabama had this last year. I can maybe remember 2 holds off the top of my head.
Yeah, it was the false starts and holds. It was the untimely false starts and holds that he had last year, which hurt us. A couple of key plays with Jalen Milroe that just it cost us some ball games. And I mean, the timeliness of what he was doing. And Kels, I'll go back and say, Eli Massey dropped us a note in the comments, says, and please move the portal to February, after the season officially ends. I mean, we can sit there and talk about this portal and we can what if and we can say, I believe, but until those types of actions happened, okay, we're going to have this craziness. Okay. Think about these teams that are still playing.
Or Oregon's top offensive lineman. He literally plays, which goes into what I'm about to talk about. He plays Friday. He has joined the transfer portal. It's insane to think this would be like the NFL having free agency today.
During the playoffs.
Today. Free agency is available today.
Hey, I've got a contract in place with the other team that's in the Super Bowl, even though I'm playing for a Super Bowl ready team right now that's in the Super Bowl, yet I'm going to be leaving in a couple of days to go put it on the other jersey. Imagine that crap.
I'm sorry, what lane? So let's take a minute and circle back to things that matter today. Tomorrow night there's a football game. I don't know if you've looked at the calendar,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had to sit there and think that is tomorrow night.
It's a pretty important
Yes.
game. The U, who may or may not be back, and Ole Miss, who's never been there to be back. Speaking of Lane Kiffin, kickoff tomorrow night in the first of the two Final Four games. What? How do we really see this game?
So, what game is tomorrow? Miami Ole Miss tomorrow, right?
Miami Ole Miss in the what is it?
Fiesta Bowl.
The VRBO,
The VRBO. Fiesta Bowl.
VRBO Fiesta Bowl. That's me being
So, I
funny.
mean, what I've been saying over the last week, specifically on these two teams, Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss is the highest ceiling quarterback we see in this college football playoff. He may be the highest ceiling quarterback we see in college football. He is electric.
There's two people at this table that might argue with you on that
He
one.
just had the game of his life against Georgia, and Georgia couldn't stop him. Georgia played a good game, but when you play a guy like Trinidad Chambliss who goes off for what he did against him, it's hard to win that game. Now, it's also hard to replicate what you did, especially against Miami, who has a good defense. They play very physical down the line. Pops, you talk about the experience with Carson Beck.
That's where I was going, man.
Exactly.
What can you not replicate? You cannot replicate experience.
You cannot do that. And I understand that.
I mean, he did go 30 for 46 for 362 yards against one of the best defenses in the country.
Pretty damn
Georgia.
impressive.
Now a lot of that was his fourth quarter was just
phenomenal,
stupid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like there's no other. I'm sorry. There's no other way to describe it. That fourth quarter for Ole Miss was just stupid. That whole game, the fourth quarter was stupid, and I don't know if the stage has been brought back out onto the football field or pushed back or what at this point. But I'm starting to listen to Pops over here. There's some wisdom coming from that other side of the table with this Miami Hurricane, and I may be jinxing them right now by saying any of this, but I don't know, man. The U might actually be back.
No. Here's the thing.
Never.
Let's go through this.
They've been back since the 80s, man.
And let's go this again, okay? You can't bring back the U. The U was a different era of college football. You go back to the 80s, you want to go back to Jimmy Johnson, you can go back in your own head, but here's the deal. The U is not going to ever be back. It's not about the U.
Does Miami on this current roster have a freaking Michael Irvin? Do they have a Ray Lewis?
They got a great defense. I don't know specifically whether there's a Ray Lewis or not.
They got killers on the team.
The U is back. Okay, what you really should be saying
Allegedly.
is Mario Cristobal in Miami are clicking and they are hot. And they might be the hottest team in the college football playoff. What was the key that everybody said had to happen last year? And what did Ohio State do?
They got hot at the end.
They got hot and peaked at the right time.
That
is exactly what Miami is doing right now.
They're the most physical team.
They're the most physical. They are probably the most defensive ready. They can run the ball. They have these boxes checked.
They have the experienced quarterback.
And neither one of these teams are supposed to be there.
No.
Ole Miss was left for dead because Daddy left home to get milk and never to not return.
Ole Miss has still got coaches leaving this week.
Yes.
I mean,
Charlie Weiss, I think, is the only coordinator that is going to stay on and see the whole thing through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, from the old Ole Miss staff. So Pete Golding, Charlie Weiss, this is now both of your team into the end of the college football playoff. Can Kawan Lacey run the ball this week?
That may be the question.
Can Kawan Lacey
game?
Yes. Can Kawan Lacey actually run the ball against Miami's defense? And it's not like he had a bad game against Georgia. I think he had 100 yards.
Right.
But
I can go back and verify that.
I wish we had a running back that could run 100 yards.
Yes. I mean, but it's not like he
two
had
games.
a bad game against Georgia. But Miami has a better defense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question about that.
He only went for 98 yards.
98.
98 odd yards.
Uh,
It was enough to beat Georgia, but how much can he really get against Miami's defense? And it is a good defense.
You know what's sad though is here's where I'm going to be a little SEC biased. Okay, I don't want to see the ACC win this thing. Okay, but I'm also a realist in this. Okay, I think Miami's the better team going in. They're the hottest team. They've got the most momentum. Nothing to take away from Ole Miss. And I mean, you saw what Eli said about Ole Miss. He said, "Go to hell with Ole Miss." Right? He's a Mississippi State fan.
Yeah.
One of our viewers right now. But I want to see an SEC team win it. I don't want to see a Big Ten team win the damn thing again.
In my order, I'm pulling for Miami, then I'm pulling for Ole Miss, and then I'm pulling for Oregon, and then I'm pulling for Indiana.
Indiana's last.
I mean, here's the
I
deal.
want to see Signetti.
Which means the exact order of how this is going to finish is Indiana, Oregon.
How can we sit here and say, though, that if Trinidad Chambliss replicates his performance against Georgia, a once-in-a-lifetime performance against another team,
You're saying Trinidad puts up almost 400 against Miami?
if he can put up 400 yards against Miami,
he wins.
They win the game.
to win,
they win.
Oh yeah, they win the game.
They win the game if he puts up.
If he puts up
400.
400 against Miami and then 400 against Indiana,
I wouldn't put it
If he
past
puts up
Trinidad.
400 against Indiana, I'm going to just start calling him Tom Jr.
I wouldn't put it past Trinidad Chambliss to put up 400 yards.
I'm
against
hoping he
Miami.
does, but
I think he is a
now,
phenomenal player. I think he is probably the most talented player we have left in college football right now.
if he
And
puts up
he-
400 against Miami and then
Yes.
400 against Indiana, at the end of the game, before they hold up the national championship trophy, quarterback from Indiana,
Fernando Mendoza.
Mendoza should go to the locker room, get his Heisman, bring it
Hand
out
it
there,
over.
and hand it to him.
100% agree. 100% agree.
and I'm telling you right now, the coach that Signetti is, if Trinidad starts putting up 400 yards, he's going to start blitzing 8. He's
Oh, yeah.
he is not going to let that happen. Okay. You're not going to blitz. If you start blitzing 8, you're going to get burned. But my point is, he's going to
Might
make
be
it
how he puts up
defensive-
400.
It's going to be a defensive adjustment. Signetti's too good a coach. He's too proud of a coach to let that happen. He is not. If he starts seeing something like that start to happen, he's going to shut that down.
So as we move on, before we get to the national championship game, there is another game, and it's
There is.
called the Peach Bowl.
The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and it is between Indiana and Oregon. Now, before I get to that, because we are going to have pick'ems at the end of the program here, I forgot to post the pick'ems graphic. That is on me. Please answer in our comments. That one slipped my mind this week. I was real focused. We had a lot of things going on and off the bench this week as we continue to try to grow the show. And guys, you're a part of that, and you're every bit a part of that. We really appreciate you joining with us and tuning in every show that we have. We just really appreciate it. So leave a comment, of course, like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you know when we're about to go live here on YouTube. And don't forget, we're going to be live this Saturday as well from 9 to 11. And you can also listen to us on 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. If you want to get in touch with us over the week, hit us up on Facebook at Off the Bench over there. As of course, we just love engaging with you guys, and we will continue to do so here on Off the Bench. So, Indiana and Oregon, people forget this game happened already once this year
In Eugene.
and Indiana still won the ball game. So let's talk about what Oregon actually has to do to get a victory in this game. The biggest thing that I see, just right off the rip, of what actually happened in this game.
They got to run the ball.
They lost in the time possession battle.
They lost.
They
it.
were 3 for 14 on third down. Now, granted, Indiana was not much better. They were 5 for 14.
right. Not great.
But you go 3 for 14 in a game, you deserve to lose.
At home.
At home. Oregon, there's struggles you got to fix. I get it, 3 for 4 on fourth down. You up that percentage a little bit from your third down. But here's the issue. If you go 3 for 14 on third down, if you have 7 penalties, well, toward Indiana's 8 in that game. If you go 3 for 4 on third down and you get 14 first downs compared to their 23, you're going to lose the game.
They're going to make you look like Alabama.
They're going to make you look silly. We talk about hot teams in college football, teams that are peaking. Indiana's peaking. Oregon is probably the team with the least amount of momentum right now. And that is not to take away from them.
They've won 2 straight in the playoffs.
So is
One-
every other team in the
one-
playoff besides these bye teams.
One was JMU. The other one was Texas Tech's
That's the thing.
defense
That's
because
the thing.
Texas Tech's offense didn't show up.
That's the thing. Dan Lanning was supposed to beat James Madison.
Supposed to.
He was supposed to beat Texas Tech.
No, I thought Texas was favored in that game.
He was supposed to beat Texas Tech.
All right. Did you just shrug him off? I saw that. It's like
he kind of did. Yeah, he's like, yeah.
He's not supposed to beat Indiana. But do the Oregon football players believe, truly believe, because the University of Alabama's football players did not believe this. Do they truly believe that they can beat Indiana, or are they going to get some BTA at the end of the day?
Yeah, man. So I think the biggest difference in this game, right? Where's this game being played?
It's in Georgia.
Atlanta.
It's in a dome.
It's in the dome, right?
No weather.
Okay. There's no weather involved.
No wind, no rain, no nothing.
Nothing. So there's none of those elements whatsoever. Does the Oregon West Coast crew make that flight? Do they travel with their team? Is half that stadium green or yellow or gray or whatever color Oregon is wearing that day? Okay. And I was blown away by the Indiana following. Okay.
Yep.
I had a client. I'm on a call with a client today, lives in Indiana. He goes, "You're not going to want to hear this, Jason, but I'm going to be heading to Atlanta this weekend or this week." I'm like, "You seriously going to rub that in on me?"
Yeah.
But so that those fans are following them. Do the Oregon fans follow? Can it get loud?
We've seen them
in the dome with the Oregon fans.
Oregon fans follow. We've seen it before.
They do. They travel.
They travel.
I'm just saying that's a lot.
Unfortunately, and we're getting
Atlanta is a hub.
Are we close enough to the end for me to actually make my pick?
Yeah, 50. We're at 56.
Let's go for it,
guys.
Let's go for it. Let's do what we do every week here on the show, usually here on Saturdays, but it has not appeared that way during the playoff. It seems like Wednesday has been on home for pick'ems throughout the playoff, Wednesday and Thursday. So let's get to it. Let's get to pick'ems, guys.
All right. First one's up. Fiesta Bowl, Miami, Ole Miss. Miami minus 3.5.
This game I keep going back and forth on. This is the one that I'm completely back and forth on, and I really just don't know what to believe. It's it's Oregon, it is Miami physicality versus star power on Ole Miss's offense. And what is really going to happen on this game? Can the star power be shut down by the physicality of the defense? Carson Beck's experience within the playoff in these high-pressure situation games when the lights are the brightest. Some people say Thursday night lights are the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, middle school football takes place Thursday nights, and those are some rough nights. I go back to my youth and think about it. I never played, barely went to the ball games because we actually played it at another school because our football stadium didn't have bleachers. But those boys fought tough out there, and Thursday night lights.
Thursday night lights, huh?
And I gotta say, the quarterback that I think is the most talented in college football is the one that is going to pull this off because I think they have more momentum in a way. They have more momentum than the other team on the field. Give me the Rebels and the Chick-fil-A pitch. Or excuse me, that's not the Peach Bowl. And the
Fiesta
VRBO and the Fiesta.
The
Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Give me the Ole Miss Rebels.
All right, see, Kels, this is where you and I are going to disagree. And so far, I've been pretty right on with Miami. Carson Beck has shown his experience. He's a weathered quarterback. He's been there. He's done that. He gets to go home to Georgia. Oh, wait a second.
No,
we're in a different game?
No, this is a different game.
Yeah.
This is the
Not home.
This is the
Fiesta Bowl. This is in Arizona.
This is in is it
State
Farm,
Tempe? State
Phoenix?
Farm Arena.
Oh, yeah.
Phoenix.
We're back in Arizona. Well, he's not going back to Georgia. See, the old man in me just came out right
He
there,
will be
right?
back home for the national championship if he wins this game. He will be in Miami.
I'm telling you right now, Miami has a lot to play for. Beck gets it done. We'll get to see Beck playing in Miami, and Miami basically playing a home game for the national championship.
You started talking about middle school, West Lawn Middle School alumni here. Not even a middle school anymore.
I was about to say, I've
like 5 years
never heard
ago,
that.
guys? What?
Yeah, moment of silence for West Lawn Middle. Also, my high school is now a church. So
I thought it was a bar.
No,
Oh, okay.
it's a church. That Stone Middle is now a bar.
Oh, okay.
I was West Lawn. Big rivalry there.
Between the bars and the churches.
I think Trinidad could possibly be the second or third quarterback taken in the draft. But unfortunately, he's going to have a little more time to prepare for the draft.
Oh, he signed back his NIL too.
Well, allegedly.
Ole Miss. I think that's confirmed, actually.
But I think he's going to have a little time to get ready and read over his NIL contract, because I think Miami has still not put their belt back on, and they are ready to put a little BTA on the Ole Miss Rebel, Land Shark, Black Bear, whatever the name of their mascot is now. And I am actually going to, and I cannot believe I am saying this in the year of 2026 of our Lord, I am going to take the U in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl.
I can't disagree too much. I think they're both great picks. I just think mine's better. I mean, I'm biased, but
I'm sorry.
A little biased on your own pick, man.
I understand, but
What, Texas A&M? I'm sorry. What, Texas A&M?
hey,
I
have
can't
a
hear you.
belief. I have a belief that everybody in the country has picked these games wrong. Nobody's going 100%. They have not completely picked the pick'ems right. It's not like we have March Madness, but if we had March Madness, the what's it actually called? Where we pick all the teams.
Bracket challenge?
The bracket challenge.
Yeah.
If we actually had the bracket challenge,
Which we will in March.
I don't believe, if you had that college football, I don't believe that you would actually have anybody that has picked this correct so far. So I'm going to the point to make myself feel better that my pick isn't invalid and that everybody decided that, other things were going to happen in the playoff. So nobody really knows what's going on. So my belief is I'm still very, very proud of my picks. Nobody could have told me that Texas A&M was going to lose because everybody picked Texas A&M to win.
Okay. All right. Friday night. So after the middle school teams get done.
Friday Night Lights, high school football, baby.
High school football. Oregon and Indiana in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. This episode is not sponsored by Chick-fil-A, but yes, please. Indiana is only a 3.5-point favorite.
I haven't flipped too far with this game until Friday. I saw some simulations ran, and they were in the favor of Oregon winning this game. I've seen what Oregon has done, especially in previous games and throughout their season, and what happens and how they played against Indiana in Eugene. Now this one's going to be completely on the road for both teams in Atlanta, and I'm looking at it, and I cannot get over how bad Indiana put their I can't say that. Put their foot
up Alabama's ass.
Up Alabama's ass. Can't get that out of my mind, and how well the offense, how well the defense was so organized, so prepared for the game that I've turned a corner in my life. And I believe Kurt Cignetti is a phenomenal coach, and he is an amazing preparer for his team. And he's just as good as a coach on Saturdays or whenever the game takes place now in college football, because you never know. I'm to the belief that Kurt Cignetti, it is impossible for him to lose. Give me the Indiana Hoosiers.
Well, no, I think that Indiana's time is up. Personally, I just don't feel that we need an undefeated team. And no, I think Cignetti's a great coach. It took me a minute to latch on to Indiana this year. I still think of Indiana as a basketball school. As I sit there and watch another basketball school over here on this TV to my right, and I'm heavily distracted by this game over here. But no, I think Cignetti has taken a program. I mean, that won a couple of ball games 2 years ago, and now they're playing for a national getting ready to play for a national championship after they win this game.
All right, so you're taking Indiana as well?
Yeah.
Pops, you do realize if Indiana were to win the national championship this year, they would be the first
and only
first team to finish at 16-0 since Yale did in 1894.
Well, and also realize that Indiana will put a statue of the great Cignetti up, and there would be maybe a touchdown Cignetti. All of these things, all of these Indiana talk guys like us are, they're loving their team right now. So I'm gonna hop on their bandwagon and I'll say, hey, hail Cignetti.
Richie, who you got in this one?
Listen, before I make my pick, I want to look deep into the camera and tell everybody that's watching this, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. We appreciate you. Hit the affiliate links. Buy you a nice hat. Beautiful hat. You see how nice this hat looks? Get out there and buy a hat. Because the Oregon Ducks are about to make Alabama look bad. When they go in,
Did y'all watch the game last night?
when they
Just
go
question.
in,
I watched it.
listen, look, both of y'all picked Indiana. I don't want to hear another thing. I don't want to hear another word from the guy who picked Texas A&M to win the national
I
championship
thought
game.
Pops just picked Oregon.
No,
No,
he
Indiana?
picked Indiana.
I said, hell, Signetti.
He thinks they're going to put a
I tuned
statue.
out.
Touchdown Signetti, not poster, but statue up.
I believe that the Oregon Ducks have sat back, relaxed, watched Indiana get all the hype, how great Indiana is, the new standard of college football, the Indiana Hoosiers, not basketball, not practice, not the game I love. We're talking about practice here. I think the Oregon Ducks are going to come into Hotlanta and they're going to fly all over them. And Oregon and Miami for the national championship.
You got teams from two separate parts of the U.S. going at each other for the national championship.
Yep. In
Richie,
Miami.
I think your point is valid. I just think I'm biased, but my picks are just better in a
Well,
way.
they haven't been so far.
We're not going to talk about it. Guys, this has been Off the Bench College Football Show. Guys, we'll be back with you on Saturday from 9 to 11 right here in the Angel Share Garage Bar to recap the picks that we had made and to see the outcomes of the games. We hope to see you there with us as well. Guys, hit the bottom of the description on the show here tonight. Go down there. You're going to see all of our links, a link page there for you to click on. You're going to find all of our social media handles as well as our affiliate stuff. Guys, go grab a hat. I cannot tell you how good these hats are, and I want to pass on good products to you all that we really feel strong about. So go check it out. Branded Bills. Guys, we'll see you on Saturday, 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville here as well on YouTube. This has been the Off the Bench College Football Show.